Okay, there are different kinds of treatment for autism, as you well know. You've got the therapist approach where an expert from the outside is working on your child. So you have the applied behavioral therapists, the ABAs, you've got occupational therapists, you've got speech therapists, you've got lifestyle management therapists, and the whole 9 yards. And as we said before in the previous video, it's not enough just to work from the outside. There are chemicals, there are toxins, there are bugs that are actively actually domiciled. They're staying in your gut and in your brain, in your child's brain, excuse me, that are going to sabotage that. So this is what I would deem an intelligent approach to addressing your child's autism situation. And it has to start, if we're talking about this, it has to start with the removal of as much as possible of the bugs as possible. That has to be the first start. And so here's a way we approach it at the Brain and Body Foundation. We call it the Building Strength approach. And it takes about, and we think in terms of 3 months, it takes about a year and a half, to really address this. So this will probably be, let's just make it 6 months. Our first focus for the first couple of months is one to remove as much as possible, as I've said, of the bacteria, the bugs, the heavy metals, the chemicals, and so on and so forth. Also, you want to repair the gut wall. Remember, the digestive system, let's assume this is the lining of the digestive system. So food comes in, and then food goes in through here, through here, through here. The lining of the gut is made up of very sensitive cells, all right? And they are meant to form a tight junction to prevent any unwanted particles from escaping from the gut into the bloodstream. And that's the bloodstream just beneath the surface of the lining of the gut. I hope this is making sense. Anyway, for a lot of these kids, this lining, this wall has been damaged. So a lot of undigested food particles and chemicals and bugs are basically leaking into the bloodstream and eventually getting to the brain where they can wreak havoc. So our goal, after removing as much of these bugs as possible, is to seal up or repair this damaged lining. There's a lot of scarring, a lot of tissue. As a matter of fact, when we were in medical school, the main thing I remember from medical school is that the gut of children with autism has been attacked by the child's immune system, causing damage to the immune system, to the lining of the gut. That is all I remember, because at that time we had never even seen or heard of a child with autism. It was just something we thought it was a white person's disease, so we really didn't look at it at all. But it is now a fact that the gut, as a matter of fact, any brain condition, just think about it, whether it's stroke, whether it's dementia, whether it's depression, whatever you think about, if you have a brain condition, you can be sure that the gut is affected as well. So it does make sense to deal with that. So we spend some time removing the bad stuff. We spend some time repairing, and then also in the process of repairing, we're also replenishing, because the Bible verse where he says, "If you cast out the demons, seven demons come back." Well, the same thing here. You want to when you're removing the bad stuff, you want to quickly replace with the good stuff, and you cannot overemphasize the importance of good bacteria. So in addition to removing the bad stuff, we try to replace with the good bacteria. And so there are a few brands that have really high quality bacteria that are pertinent and relevant to autism. As a matter of fact, the research now shows that there are 3 or 4 specific strains of bacteria that are lacking in children with autism. And I have a whole video on the digestive system and the importance of good bacteria, what they do for the body. And you can catch that in our archives. So it's really important to replace. The ideal ratio of good to bad bacteria is 85% to 15%. Good bacteria 85%, bad bacteria 15%. Many times in children with autism and other neurodevelopmental conditions, that ratio is is tilted a bit, and sometimes it could even be reversed entirely. One particular organism that we want to be concerned about are the fungi or the yeast infections. We find that yeast have a predisposition to growing wildly, especially if you think about it, when the kids are given this antibiotics for a long period of time. It kills off all the good and all the bad bacteria. However, the yeast infections and fungi tend to rebound much more easily and more quickly, and they quickly overpopulate where the bacteria have been removed. And yeast infections can be extremely difficult thing to treat. So, like I said, one of the things we have to do is flush. We can either kill the bacteria, we can flush them out, we can do both. But bottom line, it has to be in a safe way, and it's something that your child should be able to tolerate. And we can discuss and talk about that a great deal. So there you have it: remove, repair, replenish, and the final one is restore. Restore, and that's probably in another video we'll talk about the brain. But I want to restore the nutrients that the brain and the gut, the nutrients the brain and the gut need to function very adequately. And that includes vitamins, includes minerals, includes omega-3 fatty acids. The brain desperately needs omega-3 fatty acids, so does the gut. So in another video, we're going to talk about some of these other things that we can do for the brain as well as, for the gut and other things.